Brisbane's number one hit music station. This is B105. Stav, Abby, and Matt. Morning.
Here they go. Jessie Williams. He bottles it up. Touchdown.
Yeah, Brizzy Rays in the first Australian to win an American Super Bowl ring. Woo! Of course he was Brizzy Rays. Jessie Williams is on with us this morning. Hey, mate.
Hey, what's going on?
Jessie, you know that we actually did the first interview, I think, before you went over to the States. And you got into NFL, and it wasn't as big back then. But has it been strange when you've returned of how many people are now into NFL here in Australia?
Yeah, it has definitely surprised me. If you told me 10 years ago this many people were going to unfortunately still recognize me and somewhat still recognize me, I'd be surprised. And yeah, I think it's a lot of social media, a lot more football presence down here, which is good. So it's interesting to see.
So my son is NRL mad and also NFL mad just as much, Jessie, and I think what's changed is kids that get right into the stats of it as well. It's not just about the celebrity of the football players. They're actually now with NFL. They're breaking it down. They're watching the clips on YouTube and ESPN and everything like that more intently, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just so much more accessible. So many more kids know football. They know the personalities and, being able to watch it. When I was younger, I could watch it on SBS, the Super Bowl, one day a year.
Yeah.
Now these kids are watching every play, red zone, the players' social media, the team social media. So it's culturally coming along a bit more than a bit of a notoriety. And I'm hoping that, some of these kids end up growing up and fall in love with the sport like I did and eventually, either try and play or get around the sport locally.
That's a good point you make too, because everything's on tap these days for everyone. I think the only experience I had with Gridiron when I was growing up was the Sega game. That was a solid game, but that was all and when you saw it in American movies. And now you can just flick on any game that you want if you're a fan of any team. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was the same. Playing Madden was probably the base knowledge of everyone I knew, but now these kids, I know way more stats and stuff than I would ever know. They don't know a lick about football, but they know a lot more about the stats and the players.
You're bridging a lot of the gaps, I guess, between the pathways of having Australians go over there to be able to play in America. What do you look for? What do you reckon is that that X factor from players here going over to play there?
I would say outside physical, I guess, stature and whatnot. I think our biggest trait is just kind of grit, toughness. It's a very well recognized path now with so many more guys going over, and we're very heavy on the values and getting an education and going to school, which is a very tough journey. It's still extremely tough physically and mentally. So toughness for us is the biggest difference maker. We could have some of the best kids in the world, but they're just soft as hell, which we come across honestly quite a lot. It's more the more resilient of an athlete that tend to just be able to hold the line longer and get over there, because it is a very big jump. It's not only a long flight, but culturally and socially, it's very different.
Jessie, no doubt you're really excited about the engagement with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I always ask about Taylor.
Yeah, I had it on my ESPN tracker, just waiting to see when it was going to click on.
Mate, your story is a fantastic one. Of course, Aussie kid gets to play in the NFL. You won a Super Bowl ring.
Went to my high school.
Went to Stav's high school.
He always drops that. I went to Cav Road, like the monster. Yeah.
So you went to my high school.
That's a very good point. Yeah. That's a very good point, Monster.
For people who don't know your story, you overcome a cancer diagnosis throughout your career as well. Could you share that with people?
Yeah, that was part of the reason I kind of retired. I actually had some pretty severe cancer in my kidney my last year in the NFL, and it was a pretty good pivot point for me to, I guess, get out of more of a receiving role and playing football, more into a serving role and kind of using football and how I can, help some part of the world, And I think it's just, for me, I went through a very tough pathway that, I don't even think that tough of a pathway exists anymore. And I think a lot of kids that followed behind me, recognize how much it took just to sort of get to where I was. But, I think for me, it was always never wanted to be defined by football. I knew there was so much more than that Jessie Williams can offer to the world than, giving people, handing out, concussions like gift cards to people. It was, what value can I add to the world? And yeah, it was a tough path, and, didn't get to do the things or everything I wanted to do. I feel like I accomplished much more than anyone else ever expected of me, especially a young Indigenous kid from the south side of Brisbane. But, there's more on the horizon for what me as a human can do than just tackle people.
And do you you still head back quite often and go to the end of season stuff with the team that you played for? Like, do you get to catch up with a lot of those guys that you played with now that you're back in Australia?
Oh man, I think at my age now, there's probably like a handful of guys that are still playing, but most are retired and or still around football and coaching. So, which I go back quite a fair bit, and I'm actually going in a couple of weeks to go over, and I spent a lot of time in the South, mainly around Alabama, where I went to school, and a lot of my friends and coaches, catch up with Coach Saban and do the whole runner, which is awesome to have. It's a very close brotherhood in regards to, the fraternity of Alabama and then Seattle and the NFL. So I try and keep a close eye on it. I enjoy going back there and sort of getting in the mix of it for X amount of time, and then, disappearing from there and coming back. But home. Yeah.
I would say Coach Saban, I was like, sometimes I feel like I want a motivational yelling at from him sometimes. Have you ever seen him on the sidelines? It's unbelievable. Is he a real softie though, Jesse?
I would love to be not truthful and say yes. But he is as true as you're going to get across a human being. I think he's not soft, but I think he is unconditionally caring as a coach and as a human being, especially as a man towards other young men, which obviously I gravitated towards in a mentor and a guide for what I wanted to do. But I've seen some pretty good sprays, including of myself many a time. So sometimes it's motivating. Sometimes it's a reality check to see if you want to wake up tomorrow.
I can yell at you if you need cheering up.
No, Coach Saban, you should see it. He's just got these massive men in front of him, and he's just going for it. I'm like, oh.
So good.
Look, the thing always is between NFL and NRL as well that, the NRL players do it without all the padding and stuff. Could NFL be played without the pads, Jesse?
I don't really think so. I think obviously, as you can imagine, I get this all the time, but I think a lot of it is just the severity of the contact and where that is coming from, where the NRL is pretty visible, like, hey, you're running directly towards them and, it's effective tackling and getting them down and, resetting the tackle and whatnot, where in the US, it's like, I was out there trying to knock somebody's soul out of their body from all different directions, whether they were looking at me or not, from behind, on top. Like I'm jumping over poles to try and put the crown of my head through somebody's sternum.
Okay, now you've explained it, Jesse. I think I understand why they wear the pads, man. I kind of get it.
Yeah. Hey, well, I think you got 7 pounds of apparent protection, which is more like a weapon on your head. So
that's true.
It's a gentle touch.
Yeah. Hey, mate, really appreciate your time this morning. You can also tomorrow get down as the 2025 NFL season kicks off. They've got the festival, which is taking over Felons in Brisbane tomorrow, celebrating the season. So make sure you get down there and check it out. Jesse, thanks for your time this morning, buddy.
No worries. Appreciate it, guys.
Good on you, man. Appreciate you. It's Stav, Abby and Matt, 5 away from 8 and a chance at $50,000. We're going to do that after the 8 o'clock news, only on B105.